pro-independence officials who spent some time in prison last autumn might be held in custody again this Friday. That's why a new Catalan president might be sworn in as soon as tomorrow. Hello, and welcome to Catalan News. The Spanish Supreme Court summoned for Friday 6 investigated officials, MPs, now free on bail. The judge intends to reconsider their status, and this might end up with them being locked up once more. Also on Friday, the same magistrate will announce which of the 28 leaders under investigation are to go to trial and why. The result of this judicial hearing might have a side effect. The pro-independence parties might swear in a president tomorrow. Today, we got relevant news on this. You'll get them in a moment. And on our show, we'll also travel to Geneva again, where an event featuring Puigdemont ended turbulently. As was expected after yesterday's move, jailed MP Jordi Sánchez withdrew his candidacy for president in a letter made public today. Ahead of a possible new imprisonment of officials on Friday, the pro-independence parties intend to swear in his backup, Jordi Turull, as soon as tomorrow. If Turull were to be jailed on Friday, he could be back to a cell as president of the Catalan government, something unprecedented in democracy in the country.
The Catalan pro-independence parties intend to swear in senior MP Jordi Turull as president as soon as tomorrow, so that he is elected should he be sent back to jail on Friday. After spending a month behind bars last November, Turull is now free on bail for his role in the run-up to the referendum. The Spanish Supreme Court is considering incarcerating him again as soon as this Friday, which is why his party, Junts per Catalunya, has asked the Parliament Speaker to swear him in at such short notice. Having an elected president in prison has happened only once in Catalonia's recent history, during dictator Franco's time. This comes after the Parliament Speaker, Roger Torrent, in the morning announced a fresh round of talks to find a new candidate for president. The reason is that the current candidate, Jordi Sánchez, gave up his presidential bid after Spain's Supreme Court denied him permission to attend the chamber. While Torrent accepted the jailed MP's withdrawal, he said the institution he represents will not sit back and do nothing.
Això no vol dir que les intromissions il·legítimes i antidemocràtiques de l'Estat quedin impunes. Com a president del Parlament de Catalunya, em comprometo a seguir treballant en tots els fronts per defensar la dignitat d'aquesta institució.
In the troubles to appoint a president, Torrent accused the Spanish authorities of passing over the state's separation of powers and provoking a democratic regression. This statement sparked criticism from the unionist parties.
Per part del nostre grup parlamentari, el que volem és que es deixi d'intervencions de part i que convoqui aviat el ple d'investidura.
Jordi Sánchez gave up his bid in a handwritten letter to the Speaker sent from his cell in a Madrid prison. In the message, he complained about external interference and said that his withdrawal is the best service he can do for the country.
Jordi Turull is only one of the 6 Catalan officials to have been summoned to appear in court on Friday. The judge wants to reconsider their current freedom on bail and might send them back to prison if the prosecutor requests such a measure. That's why pro-independence parties want to swear him in at such short notice. The Supreme Court has only summoned the 6 officials who are free on bail and who are still MPs in the Catalan parliament. On Friday, the magistrate will also announce the indictment of the independence case, that is, who is sent to trial and what crimes they are prosecuted for. This branch of the case is quite complex. It includes all members of the last Catalan cabinet, including the ones seeking refuge abroad and the ones in jail or on a bail. 4 of them, Ministers Turull, Rull, Romeva and Bassa, have been summoned for Friday. The former Catalan Parliament President, Carme Forcadell, has also been summoned, and some of her bureau members are among the investigated leaders. The case also includes the 2 leaders of pro-independence civic associations jailed last autumn, as well as other officials, including Esquerra Republicana Secretary General Marta Rovira, who is on bail. In total, the indictment will be for 28 individuals, of which 12 have already been in jail and 4 are still behind bars. The judge has not decided yet whether to release the 2 interns who faced a hearing yesterday. Carles Puigdemont is also very likely to be indicted this Friday, and some media outlets say that the judge will reissue European arrest warrants for him and the other 5 investigated officials in Belgium, the UK, and Switzerland. In fact, in the Alpine country, the Catalan leader made a speech today, which took an unusual turn.
Carles Puigdemont took part in a tense debate today in Geneva. It was an academic event tackling the importance of independence in the 21st century. The Catalan leader defended Catalonia's right to self-determination and criticized what he considers to be state repression against the country. During the discussion, the deposed Catalan president insists that independence is not the only solution to solve the current political problem in Catalonia. He also recalled that Spain never proposed any alternative to solve the ongoing problem, but his ideas were not welcomed by all of the 500-strong crowd present. What began as another discussion on the Catalan issue in the Swiss city quickly became a tense debate, with some attendees berating Puigdemont and criticizing his statements.
Sir, I would like you to let our guest speak now. Thank you.
De voter pour l'indépendance. Donc,
you let him talk. Enough. It's just not that kind of event. All right?
The Catalan leader did not remain silent, however, and stood up to criticism directed his way.
Okay.
C'est interdit de voter. OK, c'est interdit de voter. C'est pour ça qu'on veut partir, on veut faire une république.
Ahead of his trip to Finland, Puigdemont had to face one of the most difficult events since he has been abroad. It has been indeed a very intense conference for Carles Puigdemont, the last public event of his 4-day trip to Geneva to Switzerland, a trip during which he's also visited the UN headquarters in the city. But he's not been the only Catalan leader to visit this country this week. Other Catalan politicians and representatives try to raise international awareness on their situation. The Catalan ombudsman also met today with the United Nations representative. He asked the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights to open an investigation into the violation of rights in Catalonia. Since the Catalan issue landed at the UN headquarters, many debates tackling the subject have been held. They featured the partners of jailed Catalan leaders, as well as professors and even an independent UN expert.
Today, March 21st, is the International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination. It commemorates a peaceful demonstration against apartheid laws in South Africa in 1960, when police opened fire on 69 protesters, killing them. And coinciding with this day, the Catalan branch of the European anti-racism platform, Eso es Racisme, presented a report regarding racist acts in 2017. The cases treated by Eso es Racisme in Catalonia increased by 76% in the last year to just over 200. Of the total cases from last year, over half of them chose not to press charges for reasons such as fear or lack of trust in the system. Alleged acts of aggression and abuse by public security forces remain the most common, with those from other individuals coming in second. And Eso es Racisme is steadfast on the importance of increasing awareness of these violent acts and of their harmful consequences.
Fins que no siguem capaços o fins que no se'ns escolti de que el racisme afecta persones i que està minvant no només la convivència, sinó també la democràcia, no aconseguirem avenços. No? El racisme no s'erradica perquè el poder no vol erradicar-lo i perquè perpetua un sistema de desigualtat.
Barcelona is a top destination for tourists, but at what cost? As it turns out, mass tourism continues to be an issue for many of the city's residents, prompting the council and a lobby to continue looking for ways to make it more sustainable.
The relationship between Barcelona and tourism has hit a rough patch in recent years. As millions of tourists visit the city every year, many residents believe it has become saturated. And with a rise in the number of holiday flats booked through sites such as Airbnb coinciding with an increase in the city's rent, tourism has become one of the highest ranking problems for locals. In peak season last summer, people took to the beach to protest the effects of mass tourism and tourist flats in the city. Although the industry brings many benefits to Barcelona, one lobby believes that there are elements in need of correction. Barcelona Global, an association made up of some of the city's leading companies, research centres and more, highlighted the issues of mass tourism, problems between residents and visitors, as well as the homogenisation of the Catalan capital. At a summit held today, the group proposed means to improve the sustainability of the current tourist model.
Barcelona tiene que empezar a regular el turismo, aplicar unas reglas del juego para que aquellos visitantes que impactan en determinados territorios, en determinados barrios, puedan convivir mejor con el ciudadano.
Barcelona Global suggested a rise in council tax on buildings made up entirely of tourist flats, as well as an increase in the current tourist tax, among other things. The idea behind these proposals is to improve the relationship of tourism with the capital, and they were well received by the city council.
L'Ajuntament ho rep positivament perquè, en definitiva, s'alinea amb idees que nosaltres ja havíem llançat, amb posicions que hem treballat.
The council increased the tourist tax in April last year in an effort to make tourism more sustainable. But as spring gets underway and the season begins to pick up, residents will have to hang tight to see if the city can find a lasting solution to this ongoing issue.
Also related to crossing borders, but in this case, goods instead of tourists. Today, we learned some good figures on Catalan exports once again. This January was the best month on record for Catalan exports, with companies exporting goods at a value of 5.8 billion euros. This means a 9% increase compared to 12 months ago. This is evidence that the trend continues, as in all of 2017, exports already registered an all-time high. This contrasts with the significant fall in foreign investment experience in the final quarter of last year. That's all for us today. But before we go, we want to show you some light-hearted images of those who dedicate their lives to bringing laughter to where it's needed most. Clowns Without Borders. The organization was born in Barcelona in 1993, with their first performance taking place in what is now Croatia. And soon the NGO will turn 25 years old to a big party and retrospective of their work. You can look forward to this on May 19th during the longer-running Krik Circus Festival. In the meantime, enjoy a video from their last 2-decade anniversary 5 years ago. Enjoy, and see you tomorrow.
Cheese.